we're going to be looking at how to connect your EXAGO to your computer and to establish communication between the EXAGO and your computer and the software. So before you download and install your software, it's a good idea to make sure that that communication, that line of communication has been established, and it will be easier to troubleshoot as far as if there is an issue where something isn't streaming correctly. It gives you a better idea of where to start troubleshooting. So if you go to the Biotronics Inc. website and go to the member login section, which you'll find on the left hand side of that website, and click on that, and it will bring up a window where you can sign in using your assigned username and password, and it will take you into that file, and in that file is going to there's going to be a compressed file that's called ECM's demo EXAGO streaming software file. And you'll want to go ahead and click on that, download that to your computer, and then save it to your hard drive. And so I've already done that on this computer, and the easiest place to probably save that so that you can find it is under your C drive, and I have saved it under a file I've created and titled ECM and an EXAGO streaming demo. In this file there is an application, this demo streaming application, which we're going to use here shortly. And there's also a PDF file that will walk you through all of the steps of what we're covering here today. So go ahead and get that taken care of, and then we're going to talk about how to get these communications established. So we'll start with our computer, and we'll go to the settings, and on Windows 10 this is the file we take to get to network, and we'll look at the Ethernet, and we're going to change adapter options, and we're going to double click on Ethernet here, which will bring up this file, and then click on Properties. Under Properties we're going to be looking for this Internet Protocol version 4 TCP IPv4, and we're going to click on or double click on that, and we're going to bring this up. And a lot of times this will be a check here and obtain IP address automatically. I've already got these IP address configured, but go ahead and click on this. The IP address that we are going to use in the computer is 192.168.0.1. The subnet mask should come up automatically, but double check that. It should be 255.255.255.0. And we're going to go ahead and push OK. Your computer should that should be all we have to do to it, and so we can get completely out of that. Now on the EXAGO, first thing new out of the box is we need to check and make sure that the EXAGO is set properly to the right species. And so select patient, and this screen will appear, and we're going to, under application, the default is from the factory is cat, and we want to select sow, and then just push exit. Now we're going to put in a file that should be in here. We'll select the probe button, and under preset we can just select this button that's underneath the preset there. And rather than basic, we're going to use this Biotronics DDI, and then select load. So this is automatically loaded settings for Biotronics DDI. There's a couple of settings in here that we do need to change for the present version of software, and the model we're using as a So we need to increase the power to 100%. And so you will see power here, and if we select plus below it, that will go to 100%. Also, we need to check our frame averaging, and our frame average comes up here when we go to next, and we're just going to push that up to fast. And that's where we want to be on that, is fast. All of these instructions on how to set these specific settings on the EXAGO are covered in the user's manual. I'll show you where that user's manual is here in just a short time. And we'll go ahead and go from there. But you can see we've got the depth set correctly. It's 140 millimeters. We've got gains at -32. TGCs are set here. They're 72, -16, -64, -72. Power is set to 100%. Frequency is 3.5 megahertz. Dynamic is set to 65 dB, and frame averaging again at fast. So those are the correct settings for our current model for IMF prediction. And so at this point, we can let's go to the settings on the EXAGO as far as our IP address. And we want to get to the system tab here, and you'll see over on the right the IP address subnet mask. We'll uncheck DHCP. I've already put in our IP address that we're going to use on EXAGO. It's 192.168.0.2. Again, it's not exactly the same as our computer, but it's in the same neighborhood. And that's the way we want it to be. We don't want them to be exactly the same. The subnet mask, again, should come up to a default of 255.255.255.0. We also want to select that we want streaming activated, so that the EXAGO will stream images to our computer. And we will select apply and exit from that. And so at this point, we should be able to hook everything up. I've already hooked up an Ethernet cable to the computer and an Ethernet cable to our EXAGO to establish that communication. Once those IP addresses are set in there, you'll see this unidentified network that will pop up if you check on that. And that is what we expect to see when this network is established. And we'll just check our connection now using that application that we downloaded from the Biotronics website. And again, that was saved on my C drive under ECM, EXAGO streaming demo, and so this window will pop up. And then from here, we'll want to check and see which EXAGOs. Well, here's an EXAGO with an IP address of 192.168.0.2, which is what we programmed that for. And push connect selected, and then we're going to try to acquire a frame. And what we see on our computer is the same image that we see on our EXAGO. So the communication is working here, and that test works. We've properly configured both computer and EXAGO, so everything should be good to go there. At this point, you can then install your software, and we can so you can go to the website, download that software and install that. We will need to you will need to have your security key lock at this point, and I'm going to grab mine and plug it in. So I now have my security dongle, and we're going to plug this into the USB port on your computer, to allow our software to run. And so once that's on on and installed, we can open up your software. This is Biosoft Toolbox 4.0, and we'll let it come up and get started here. And so we'll come up to this screen here. And so we can start this by this new scan session, and we'll let it go through its startup here. And we've got an ID here that's in as test. If you want to change that, you can press new location, type in that new one, and push OK. But we'll just go with test. The scan session ID is always going to be the date, and is going to be the default, but that can be changed and edited to however you want it to look. A lot of this information is for you. If you want to save this information, if you want to put in a breeder, a technician that's running the ultrasound, you can do that. We always have the option of choosing metric or English. This can be changed at any time, whether we start with it on one or the other. I'm just going to leave it on metric. And this was automatically detected that an EXAGO is hooked up. So that's always a good sign. If something is not, or something is wrong here, something didn't come up in this, or it says, it will come up yellow and say, no capture device detected, well, you can select this button, detect hardware. Also, if you want to have your templates, and we have another video that explains all of that, or the user's manual will explain it also. We can open those templates and do whatever you would like with that. You push OK. And so with the current versions of the software, and later versions, and also if you have version 13 software on your EXAGO, the settings will automatically load. So we'll see this 100% change there, and also if we go to our next file again, check frame average, everything is proper here. So we're set at the right settings for all of that. And we can go to so at this point we're ready to scan. And you can either stream from the EXAGO to your computer, or if you would rather scan and look at the EXAGO screen and capture images on your computer, you can do that as well. I'm just going to leave the capture image on. And we are ready to scan at this point. So if we go to next animal, and I'm just going to put in 1 as a random number. In this particular template we have weights in it, and so if you want to say 120 kilos, and this little red sign here, I have this set up that's outside of a normal range, so we can leave that. And the rest of it's optional as far as getting the scan. At this point, I'm going to take my transducer and put it on a calibration device we have here that has different pins at it. And then when I push freeze, and then we can use our cine loop on our EXAGO if you want to back up and capture an image. Or select capture an image. Either way, we can use these hotkeys here: capture image, stop, freeze, unfreeze. We can freeze on the software, we can freeze on the EXAGO. So say that's all we want for that animal. If you want to go to the next animal, we can do this and then type in whatever number. We can also populate these fields by using RFID technology and using a wedge program, so that whenever you have the cursor in this field, it will automatically populate that field. Unfreeze the image, and stick it back on our calibration block, and we can see different features there. This time I'm going to freeze on the software. And when you freeze on the software in 4.0, and this is a new feature for 4.0, is we have a buffer, an image buffer, which will store approximately 9 seconds worth of scanning, about 200 images. And we can use this to back through that buffer, and you can select images from anywhere within that buffer. It's a temporary buffer. It doesn't stay around for more than this pig, but you can go to any place in that buffer and capture images manually for manual interpretation. Or you can use the Cine loop that's on the EXAGO. So you have options of how we want to run that. Whatever's more comfortable for you is fine. So with that should get you up and running, and be able to capture images and scan animals.